Greetings. I'd like to spend a little bit of time focusing on Chapter 11, Serial Murder from a Global Perspective. And here I'm just going to mention a few of the findings and will highly recommend that you carefully read and outline your chapter and really take a close look at the comparative analysis here of serial killers in different countries. Here we get into the area of comparative analysis. We look for similarities and we look for differences. And so, again, realizing that there are all the flaws, sometimes more, sometimes less, in other countries as far as investigation and data collection and the like. First, serial murder may be defined or viewed differently in other cultures. And that certainly can be problematic in trying to do comparative analysis. Also, when we look at some of the earlier information about serial killers, there may be a variety of flaws in those cases. Also, we may see that culturally certain cases are given more attention than other cases. One thing that the author finds is that team killers appear to be more common in the United States than in other countries. But team killers in other countries tend to kill twice as many victims as their United States counterparts. So that's an interesting finding there. And then you start trying to figure out, how do we make sense of this? What theory or theories helps us understand this? Also, United States killers appear to be more mobile and travel more than the foreign offenders do. So those in other countries are more likely to fall into the classification as local killers. Also, we see that United States serial killers are more likely to use guns, and that may be a lot with just that there's a lot more guns in the United States than in a lot of other countries. Your author does an excellent job summarizing some of the major research in Germany, some of the research in Britain and in Canada and in Russia, Japan, and also South Africa. Wealth of information there as well. I think also it's very relevant and important, though, to look at the cultural aspects. And there's an interesting case study that's presented in South Africa, looking at Muti, which is basically murders that occur in the sense of maybe murders that occur for medical profit-oriented reasons. For example, what happens here is that someone hires someone to kill someone to take certain body parts that are then used in certain medical procedures or for helping the person become stronger or gain some advantage. Your author points out there's usually 4 role players in the Muti murders: the client, the traditional healers or witches, the murderer, and the victim. And so this is very different. Even though this could be classified as serial murder, it's a very different case culturally, and you would want to take into consideration that this is very different. That you're unlikely to have a sexual component to this, and you're unlikely to have a torture component, although you'd find, for example, a body that had been cut up so certain organs could be removed. But there's a purpose, because the organs are being sold to someone who's going to sell those and use those for a particular purpose. And so that's an interesting case study to look at. And so again, what I'll recommend is to carefully take a close look at the chapter, and later on, really when I get into the idea of mass murder, of serial murder in cross-cultural perspective, I'm going to remove those terms, mass murder and serial murder in that sense, and toward the end of the semester I will focus on genocide. And this wraps up this video.